Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live. Shout out to the entire nation for tuning in right now. And if you haven't already, spam Jeremy Chuggs down below. Coming up here live on the show, we have the latest Raiders news and rumors. We're going to talk about Maxx Crosby. We're going to talk about Mark Davis, and then PFF released a mock draft that I figured, you know what, we'll talk about it a little bit since the Raiders are 1-3 after all. Then I want to do a little bit of a different segment. Let's do some stock up, stock down. Right now, think of it as winners, losers, players that haven't played well, players that I think could potentially play well in the future, and then obviously guys that are going the other way. Since the NFL trade deadline is a month away and the way that things are trending right now, I'm just going to break down some players that I anticipate NFL media, people start to bring up in terms of potential trade candidates. We'll look at them. And then, as always, if you want to get those questions, comments on the show to the 400 people watching this live, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to vent, to skip the line. And since yesterday, we had so many people asking us for a duck race. We're just going to go to a heavy-hitting duck race right off the top of this. If you want to get in our duck race here on today's show, $50 to enter on Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. We did 2 duck races yesterday, Jeremy, and both of which were a massive, massive hit. So much so that some people wanted to do $100. So $50 to enter Mitchell Renz 365.
I have a special deal with this duck race as well.
I'm listening.
If we get 10 people to enter the duck race, that's a boot. Every 10 people we get to enter the duck race
Today.
Boot.
Oh, Christ. That's a ballsy one on your behalf. I'm not going to lie.
Every 10 is a boot. So if you want to see me drink, if you want to get some boots flowing, every $50 or every 10 entries of $50 into the duck race, that's a boot. That's
a boot ski. So yesterday, Luis Rodriguez won 120 doll hairs. So it's a lot of doll hairs. And then Sean Navarro won $140. So technically, if I'm doing my math correct here, if we get 10 people in, Jeremy's got to do a boot, and you have a shot to win $250.
Facts.
That's pretty good. That's not bad. Where are you watching from right now, Raider Nation? If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, let me know where everybody is tuning in from, because I got to hear it. I got to hear where we're repping from today. I got Juan Hernandez always in Las Vegas. What's up, my brother? Another one, Blue Richards, chilling out in Vegas. Texas from Jordan. I got King in York, PA. Kansas City from Tropical Remy, Louisiana, from Belinda, Asheville, Ohio, Raider Blair. And the reason why I ask all the time where you guys are watching from, this past month, we had close to 5,500 new subscribers here on the Raiders Report. And I've had a lot of people ask me recently, Mitch, why do you wear your jersey backwards? Mitch, I don't know, why do you scream bang when you get a $100 super chat? And to me, the real ones know. The real ones know when I go take a bathroom break on game day, what does it mean? Right? And I need other people here to know that the Raiders Report is way more of a community than it is a YouTube channel. And I think when you see where certain people are from all over the world, you get that better connection here. I mean, the amount of friendships that I believe have generated from this YouTube show spread far and wide. So I ask a lot of times where you're watching from. It helps me. I also think it helps the nation get to know everybody a little bit better. Zalesbo rocking in Albuquerque. I finally got my fiance, Alex, to start watching Breaking Bad. And now she's hooked. Shocker. It's a great show. What up, Queen from Missouri? We got Whittler Boulevard from Simply Marvelous. Montrose, Colorado. Vincenzo out in Rochester, New York, where they serve chicken French. All right, we got some super chats rolling in here on today's show. 530 people tuned in right now to the Raiders Report. Only 106 likes. Don't make me send the Queen after you. Mark Davis should take his own advice, smarten up, and fire McDoofus. Rashissimo, we're going to talk about what Mark Davis had to say to a Raiders fan, because it is a very frustrating thing. There's no doubt about it, right? I know the nation is a very passionate fan base, and that's what's going to happen when you're a passionate fan base. And I don't really think it's fair for Mark Davis to say the things that he did to Raider fans because, well, it's on video. If you haven't seen it on my Twitter, it's at MitchellRenz365, but we'll talk about Mark Davis and maybe some of the things that he could do to smarten up. Rebel Montana, ask Marshall if he shows up when the touchdowns. I mean, here's the problem, Rebel. Marshall was in shambles today, and I don't blame him. I mean, think about it. Think about how bad the Raiders' offense has been. The Giants have been worse offensively. Like, I feel bad for Marshall. I feel bad for Harrison. I mean, the Bears haven't won in 14 straight games. That's a brutal, brutal thing. But yes, Marshall, he's here. Let's go to the next one. Rolling in from John Scheffler. What's up, Mr. Chef? It's good to see you, my brother. Rebel, Marshall's in hiding because the Giants suck. The Giants have been struggling. That was a brutal, brutal Monday Night Football game, but the Giants had an opportunity. The bad pick six definitely hurt, but here's the thing. Both teams, he just showed me how many wins that the Giants have right now, so that's what I got. But, I mean, I get the pain. I get the pain. What up, Javier Diaz says, you know what? I'm going to support this show and a first-time super chat. Javier Diaz looking all sorts of dapper right now. There's not too many times that I think another man can outdress me. Javier Diaz, it's clear. You can outdress me. What up, Papaya Man? San Joe the Burrito 408. Am I saying that right? Does this mean something else? San Joe the Burrito. I don't know. I feel like you guys are always trying to get me. But Papaya Man, I know you're out in California. That's what the 408 is. At least that's what I'm going to go with, judging off the picture. No Mitch from Venom Sosa. See, Venom, I appreciate that. I don't know. I've had people make me say some wild shit on this show. You just got to... See, it's short for San Jose. See, you learn something every day. See, here's the other thing I've learned, or people have told me, that you shouldn't say San Fran. People from San Francisco go crazy when you say San Fran. Is that true? Is that why we say it? There's another place in San Diego. It does not. There's a beach, and I can't think of the beach's name, but I remember how poorly I pronounced it.
I don't care how much you dislike somebody. You should not call her a beach.
I mean, life's a beach. There's no doubt about it. I'm just playing in the sand. Name a player that deserves more playing time this upcoming week. Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. I need to know one player that deserves more playing time. One name. Give me a name. What are we thinking here? Adam Sweeney. Yes. La Jolla. I remember the first time I was in San Diego. I forget who I asked, but I was like, yeah, I don't know how we get to La Jolla, but we got to get there. And they were like, yeah, you're not from here, are you?
What?
La Jolla Beach. I said La Jolla, which if you watch this show, you know me. Shouldn't surprise anybody.
No.
But yeah, La Jolla Beach. I got there. That's 100% right. I'm glad you knew exactly what I thought. Oh, Tyree Giuseppe is another one that I'll never live down. I'll never live down, which I probably shouldn't. What up, Robert? Gonna go with Renfrow, AOC from Chile, Maine, Michael Mayer, Vincenzo Peoples.
Can't believe they moved the Raiders to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Holy shit, that's funny. JJ Moose says Jermaine Eluemunor. I mean, can he play anymore? I think he's played every single snap this season. Steve Jones going to go with Malcolm Coons. Jaime Alvarado Sr. says Maxx Crosby. Hunter Renfrow from Blue. Richards. AOC from We Out Here. Chili, Maine. I hear ya.
Still some AOC stands.
What up, Patrick B? Mount Raider More Legend says Malcolm Coons. Rebel Montana. When you said it, you're a tourist. Oh, I knew as soon as I said it. The guy looked at me like I had 6 heads, and he's like, yeah, you're not from these parts, are you?
You ain't from these parts of town, are you, partner?
Man, we got 650 people. Everybody say what's up to Victor because he's got a first-time super chat. Everybody, if you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, spam
Let's
Victor
go.
Right now, showing love to Raider Nation. I would say get a pick, but that pick, that's trippy. Honestly, that's usually how I feel after Thursday night football shows.
What?
That's how I feel. After a Thursday night football show, when Patrick B., John Borelli, Tre'von, the entire gang up on me, that's what I see. Victor, you want to shout out here? Spam Victor right now. I got Robert, Adam, Buckethead, Seth. What up, Martin, El Loco Uno, Sherilyn Collins. We got B, Doug, Raider, Seth Edwards, Blue Richards, Tropical, Remy, Chili Main Don, all showing love to Victor and his first time super chat.
If you haven't voted already, because of all the AOCs rolling in, I made it our live poll.
Okay.
Who should start on Monday? Jimmy G or AOC?
Oh, man. Who should start on Monday? What's funny is I had a guy who watches this show all the time, and he actually even has a jersey. He's one of my best friends from this show, but one of the reasons why I love him is because he tells me all the time exactly what he's thinking. So without watching the video that I put out this morning, he sends me basically, if anybody thinks that this guy should start at quarterback, they obviously have no idea what they're talking about. And I was like, well, I guess you didn't watch the video because I have no idea what I'm talking about then. But then him and we went back and forth for a little bit on AOC and Jimmy Garoppolo. If you haven't already checked out the video, I gave my opinion on it earlier today. So please go check that one out. All right, one of the other things we're going to be talking about here live on the show is Raiders trade candidates. Because if the Raiders are bad, you have to look at the NFL trade deadline, which is on October 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. October 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Harley Quinn?
I mean, last year I was Buddy Bear for Halloween and Harley Quinn. Because Patrick B's soon to be, or maybe they are married at this point, I don't know. I just know we didn't get the cake for it. Savannah Jean, she said, I want you to be Harley Quinn.
Couldn't afford the cake.
I want you to be Harley Quinn. I mean, we will do that deal again where whatever you want Jeremy and I to be for Halloween, we will put that deal out there probably in a few more weeks. It's a little too early to do it now, though.
We also, I think we gotta narrow it down to a couple options for them.
Yeah, I think that's probably better. And
then let them choose.
Yeah, Though I do always have a interesting time seeing what the nation puts together. All right, so which Raider is the most likely to be traded at the deadline? Hunter Renfrow from Ryan to King. Davante Adams from YD223. Danny's watching from Pennsylvania. What up, man? C2E is going to go with Hunter Renfrow. I got Davante Adams from Danny Fan, but he's a Chargers fan. Martin saying, what's up to Miggy? Josh Jacobs from Patrick B.
Miggy, can't you see? Sometimes the super chats hypnotize me.
Let's go.
I just love your super chats.
The papaya man. Bay Area native, never say San Fran. It's either Frisco, the SCO, or the city. Is that a real thing? I was going to say.
Honestly, San Fran sounds cooler than Frisco.
Oh, I think it's because when I hear Frisco, I think of here.
Yeah. Or the SCO.
The SCO.
I feel like San Fran is way easier than the SCO.
That's like my name being Mitchell and me just being like, just call me Ill. I mean, Mitch is San Fran to me.
Name's Jeremy. Just call me Mai. All the real ones call me Gz.
I was trying to think of how to do it, but I don't know. What's up?
Long time no see. Howie Longway.
Howie Longway. Goodish day, sir. Give it to AOC, LFG Raiders, and Fire McDonkey. So far today, we have a Fire McDonkey and a Fire McDoofus. What other great nicknames is the nation going to come up with today? Let's go to my bodyguard, Miggy Camacho.
Miggy, can't you see? Sometimes your super chats hypnotize me, and I just love your super chats.
No? All right.
I didn't think of the end.
Honestly, it's fine.
We're workshopping it.
We'll get it. We'll figure it out down at the SCO.
Hey, yo!
What up, E. Lee? What's up, brother? It's good to have you on the show, man. Thank you again for supporting Dominic. Yo, let's see what we get out of AOC. If it doesn't work, hopefully we can get Williams, or in my opinion, I will take Penix Jr. over May. He gives me Zach Wilson vibes. You're saying Drake May gives you Zach Wilson vibes? I don't see it personally. I think it's a bad comparison. But, hey, You make your own comparisons. I know a lot of people probably out on the West Coast like him more, but to me, it's Drake May, and it's not all that close in terms of Penix Jr., though Penix is a solid quarterback overall. He's got to go to the right team.
You don't like him because he's a lefty.
Well, it's not. To me, it's not that I don't like him because he's a lefty. I just think that he doesn't have the accuracy that I'm hoping for. Huh?
You're a lefty?
I mean, think about it. A lefty in a football is a lot of times it's a different trajectory, just like in baseball. There's that lefty tail. We're not talking about baseball here. With football, it's different. It is. It's totally different. All right.
I don't know. I didn't think Jack's hands had a dominant hand. I thought they were both.
He also just showed you how many wins the Giants have. Though I'm not really sure how somebody has a pinky finger in the middle of their hand, but it's kind of impressive. If you guys want to join our duck race here, remember $50 to enter our duck race, 50 raffle. And here's the thing, Chuggs. Nobody has entered yet.
I told you, all the ballers were in yesterday's show.
See, what was funny was everybody wanted us yesterday to do 100. And I told Chuggs, I was like, I think we should do 100 because that's what people wanted. Jeremy goes, I think 100 is too much. We should try 50. If we don't get anybody in after the first segment, we're going to cut it down to 20. Sounds good?
That sounds good.
Okay. I'm just saying, if somebody wants a duck race for a chance to win some money, we gave $140 away yesterday to Sean. And then we also got, I just got a random email. What's up, Jonathan? And then I just got, who was the other person that won? Oh, Luis Rodriguez won $120. 50 to get in. Get out your phone. Get out your camera. Scan that QR code. Add me as a friend. Mitchell Renz 365.
Johnny Silva, our resident actor.
Resident actor, yeah. I've actually been keeping up with Johnny on IG. He's been posting a lot of different things. Though, you ever watch somebody? That sounds weird. You ever follow somebody on Instagram?
I thought it was gonna get worse. Do you ever watch somebody? No, sorry. Do you ever follow somebody?
Yeah, I know, right?
And then watch them.
But Johnny always posts these very sophisticated pictures. The pictures you took for senior day? That's like that. I always feel like Johnny posts those pics, makes me feel worse about myself.
Anthony said Raiders duck race should cost $10 to get in. All right. Y for yes, in for no. If I made it $10 right now, would you get in?
We were trying to make the people happy yesterday. If you guys would rather do 10 on Venmo, we can do 10 on Venmo. Believe me.
Y for yes, in for no. If I did it if I changed it to $10 right now, would you get in?
Jeffrey says yes. Jeffrey says yes.
I only want to do it if y'all want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're trying to do duck races for y'all. People want Hellcat won of the 100 yesterday.
All right, I'll change it to 10. All right.
I had to send Ira Jackson $40 back yesterday.
Oh, late?
Well, I think I did. Or actually, I think I accidentally sent it to... yeah, I'm going to have to ask for that money back, Sean. Ira sent me 40. Ah, crap. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Ira, I got to send you your $40 back. Yeah, we'll get that. I'll get it figured out. What up, Miggy? Raider Nation for life. Great to see you guys. Cheers to the chat, to Mitch and Chuggs. See, here's the thing. People want them to start AOC. Who do you want to start? AOC or Jimmy Garoppolo?
The live poll says 83% still wants AOC. All right. I'm a man of the people. The people said they wanted it to be $10. $10 to enter the 50-50 raffle today.
Keep going. I got to get this money back from Ira. I accidentally sent it to Sean.
Venmo Mitchell Renz 365, $10 to enter the 50-50 raffle. Or maybe we should have changed it to me. I don't know. Seems like you got some trouble going over there.
Well, no, frickin' Ira sent me 40 about 20 minutes after we got done with our live show, which, if you think about when we did the $40 duck race, he's about an hour and a half off. I thought I sent back Ira Jackson $40, but I accidentally sent it to Sean. So that's on me. Ira, no matter what, though, I'm going to send you your $40 back here very, very shortly. What up, John? No, I ain't going to do that, John. What up, Michael? We need to know what AOC has before next season's draft. We know Jimmy G ain't the future. That was kind of
Michael Yukon, welcome back.
I know, it's been a minute since we've had Michael here.
Michael was one of our MVPs during the draft, during free agency. Michael showed up big time. Good to have you back, buddy.
It is good to have Michael here. Great beard. I'm a man who honestly, Michael kind of looks like Jeremy if you were to just not shave your face for a solid. If you did no shave November, you would be Michael Yukon if we threw a hat on you.
My beard gets curly, though.
All right, perfect. Sean said, all good. So I got that back. Ira, I got to send you back your money. And then we're all caught up here. Also, we did get a few people. Here we go. Ira, sorry. I'm terrible at multitasking, if you haven't already noticed.
Waters 11, Raiders for life. Weak part of schedule coming. Time to use AOC more. Well, we'll talk about it later in the show, but this little segment of games that the Raiders have is really going to determine the rest of their season and the outlook for the offseason. If they can win some of these games, maybe it turns out a little different because after this stretch of games, too, is the NFL trade deadline. So, pretty big.
Oh, boy. All right, we've already got now 4 people in the duck race.
Wow.
So right now, 4 people in, which means you'd win $20. $10 to get in, you'd win $20 as it stands right now. The people that are in are Jeffrey, Norman, Aidan, and then also Jose, all in our duck race. 550 people watching. If you want in, you know what to do.
John Scheffler.
What up, Chef? All I got to say about Mark Davis' situation is, what do you think Al would have said if somebody yelled to him about firing a coach hired? Not pleasant. I mean, here's the thing. If I'm Mark Davis and he took verbal lashing is probably the way that I should put it. Verbal lashing at that Chargers game. Why he was sitting that close to the fans, I'm not 100% sure.
Because he didn't use our sponsor coming up.
That's probably not wrong there.
Didn't use Game Time.
But overall, that's what's going to happen when you put a shit product out onto the field for back-to-back seasons and you make people pay as much money as they have. On top of that, you move the team out of Oakland. I'll still continually say the move out of Oakland was the right business decision to do. However, though, Raider fans are upset about it, and you needed to have a successful season right off the jump. Yes, the Raiders had a first 2 years in Vegas were winning seasons. And now it's been an absolute shitstorm. But what people, I think, that don't follow the Raiders are failing to realize is it's not just the Raiders are bad. It's you hired Josh McDaniels, somebody from the Patriots, the Patriot way. You brought in all the Patriots. So it's not only are they 1-3 and bad, it's you tore everything down. You got rid of a fan favorite in Derek Carr. You've been terrible, and you're trying to do things the Patriot way and forming a Patriot West, and it's like a total disaster. You add all that stuff up, and that's why Raider fans are as mad as what they really are. All right, we got Jamani. Jamani, you in. 5 people in the duck race. Right now, winner would get $25, and we're going to do that at the very, very end of the show here. So, coming up live here on the Raiders Report, we got to get into some news and some rumors. Crosby, we're going to look at a mock draft. We're going to talk Mark Davis here. Then we're going to look at some stock up, stock down, some players that the Raiders could trade away at the NFL trade deadline. As always, if you want to get those questions, comments on the show, hashtag Raiders Super Chat the event. And then we were going to do a $50 duck race, but now it is only a $10 duck race. Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Let me get a sip of water here, and then I say, let's get this thing rolling.
Glug, 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 glug.
A lot of glugs. A lot of glugs, man. Queen Sarah Otto says, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything because we're getting ready to get into the latest right now around the silver and black. Chuggs didn't hit the right button. Everybody boo Chuggs. 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 Boo. 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 Patrick B said, Chuggs, you had one. One job. Throw the tomatoes from Buddy Bear. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, would the Las Vegas Raiders ever trade Maxx Crosby? Richard Sherman, he thinks that they might. Mark Davis yells at a fan. I'll tell you exactly what he said and if he should have said it. And then at the very, very end of today's show, the latest PFF Mock Draft. Find out who the Raiders selected and where the Raiders would pick if the 2024 NFL Draft was today. So here we go. We're going to get into the latest here around the Las Vegas Raiders. And anytime I do this show, I want to do my best to keep you up to date on the news and rumors. And when I first started doing this show, we did Chucky heads. Now we have converted to the Just Win babies. And some of these rumors that you're going to see are wild. But it's my job here as this host to take crazy rumors I see out on the internet and give my spin on it. That's why you subscribe. That's why you hit that notification bell. So the first thing coming up here is, would the Raiders ever trade Maxx Crosby? The reason why we're even talking about this is because the NFL trade deadline is October 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and the Raiders are 1-3. They don't know what we're going to get. But let's keep one thing 100% straight here. Maxx Crosby will never, ever, ever get traded by the Las Vegas Raiders. He will retire a Raider. He wants to be a Raider for life. He is the face of this franchise. And anybody out there, like I've seen on Twitter, a picture of Crosby in a freaking Lions jersey. You got Richard Sherman on his show saying that, hey, if I'm the Raiders, I would trade away Maxx Crosby. Anybody that thinks that this is a good idea, I'm almost wondering if they've just been hanging out with Josh McDaniels and Mark Davis too long. But with that being said, it kind of scares me because I don't know what the hell this coaching staff would ever do. So essentially what Richard Sherman said on his podcast is, Maxx Crosby is wasting away in Las Vegas, and because of that, Crosby should try to get out of Vegas. The Raiders should try to trade him away because they're not going to be winning anytime soon, and that the Raiders could be sellers at the NFL trade deadline. The Raiders have a lot of star power, and it's weird to say that because you're 1-3 right now, but the only player on the Raiders that I would be willing to bet my life would not get traded is number 98. I talk to Max on a weekly basis. He seems like he's always a very level-headed guy. He knows what he has right now in Vegas is a very, very good thing. He got paid heavily. He's going to get paid heavily yet again. There's no doubt about it. He wants to win. There's no doubt about it that he's frustrated right now because he wants some help on that defense. He probably is never going to say that because that's the type of leader he is and that's the type of player he is, and he'll always be the type of dude to say, you know what, I can always do more. Do I want more help for Maxx Crosby? Yes. Does Raider Nation want more help for Maxx Crosby? Yes. But you all know how much I want Josh McDaniels to get fired, right? I think we can all agree. I want Josh McDaniels to get fired. I would be more angry with the Raiders organization if they traded Maxx Crosby compared to me being happy if they fired Josh McDaniels. If you were to trade away Crosby, you are telling every single player in that locker room, we're giving up on this season. We're giving up for a long time. You're also telling every single player that has ever given their all to you that at a blink of an eye, you can get dealt. If I was a big-time free agent, if I was a big-time player, why would I want to go play for the Las Vegas Raiders if they're going to trade away a dude who has done absolutely nothing but the best he possibly could every single day? I can't stand Josh McDaniels, and I'll celebrate the shit when we decide to move on from him. But I would be more upset with this organization if they moved on from 98 compared if they decided to move on from Josh McDaniels. Like, that's how against it I am. Maxx Crosby to me is one of the most underappreciated players in the NFL, no doubt about it. And if he played on a better team, he'd get a lot more recognition because he deserves it. Yes, he doesn't always rack up the sacks compared to some of these other players, but it's because a lot of these other guys aren't getting double teamed. Max still leads the NFL in pressures. He gets after the QB with hits. He's playing almost every single snap out there, which you don't see as often anymore from a defensive end. He eats, breathes, does everything that you want from a leader. And if the Raiders want to go back to that commitment to excellence, you want to go back to just win, baby. You want to go back to being one of the premier NFL teams, every single NFL team needs a Maxx Crosby. And for that, you better hang on to him. But Richard Sherman, in terms of moving on from Maxx Crosby, said this: Maxx Crosby deserves a lot of credit. He deserves a lot more credit than he is getting. But he plays for the Raiders, and they always have something overshadowing him. Crosby has been an amazing player in the National Football League for a long time, and it continuing to make an impact week in and week out. I just hope he gets to a team that can utilize him correctly, somewhere that's going to use him and give him the spotlight that he deserves, because, my goodness, he's wasting away in Las Vegas, and you hate to see it. I agree with basically everything Sherman says in that, because I agree that the Raiders right now are pissing away Maxx Crosby. They're pissing away arguably one of the greatest fourth-round picks in NFL history, because you can't put any talent around him. But in no way in the stretch of the imagination is he even considered to be traded. It's not going to happen. And for Lion fans out there to like, well, Maxx grew up a Lions fan. He's not a Lions fan anymore. He bleeds silver and black. He's got that tatted on him. Maxx ain't going anywhere. And if an NFL team called me, Dave Ziegler, let's say I'm Ziegler, I'm the Raiders, and said, hey, what do you want for Maxx Crosby? I'm saying it starts with 3 first-round picks. Not only 3 first-round picks. I'm saying I want 3 first-round picks, and I'm going to want a lot more than that. If we can't even have a discussion over that, click. You hang up the phone, and you continue to move it on. But you know what? Richard did say something right. Maxx Crosby has dealt with a lot of bullshit since the day he's been drafted in 2019. Yes, Las Vegas has given him a platform. Yes, the Raiders have given him a lot of money, but that dude works his freaking tail off and deserves every single penny. There is a player on the Raiders that I don't know if you could pay enough money to. It's number 98. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on a later date, if you get the opportunity to show the Condor some love, do it right now. Spam 98. I'm going to send him this video after today's show, and I'm going to say, yo, Max, I know it's a frustrating year, but that nation, man, they love you to the end of the world and back. Show Maxx Crosby some love and spam 98. Let's go to the next story here on the Raiders Report. Mark Davis needs to smarten up. How old do you have to be to say smarten up? I'm going to tell you my opinion on this story in just a second, but I got to show some love to today's sponsor, Game Time. Last minute tickets, and for you that don't know, I live in Dallas, Texas, and Texas and OU is this weekend, Chuggs. I've been thinking about getting some tickets, and I know if I do, I'm going to do it through the Game Time app. If anybody is like, Mitch, do they have Raiders tickets for Monday Night Football against the Packers? The answer to that is yes. So Raider Nation, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. It is the perfect app for buying tickets when you're planning on visiting Las Vegas. If anybody out there is just planning on honestly taking a vacation or a trip, I was in North Dakota this past weekend for my cousin's wedding, and I went on Game Time. I looked up some events. I'll be honest, this might surprise you. There's not a lot of events going on in Fargo, North Dakota, but there was a football game, and I could have got tickets to the North Dakota State football game. It was like $8 on Saturday. I mean, that's a hell of a steal. So if you're somebody like me that likes to wait to the very last minute to plan stuff in like a theater, a football game, Game Time is the perfect app for all of you out there. So $20 off with code RaidersChat, which you can find down below. It's going to be in the comments. It's going to be in the description of today's show. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So does Mark Davis need to smarten up? This one is for just win babies. Believe it, baby. If you don't know the story, it's on my Twitter at MitchellRenz365. But the video itself was taken. You guys can look at the source here. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But it was a video on TikTok, which now has circulated to Instagram. It is now circulated to Twitter as well, and it's from MRU_HP. But essentially, they're taking a video of Mark Davis at the Chargers game on Sunday, and, you know, fans are yelling a lot of stuff at Mark, and here's the problem. When you're the owner of the Raiders, you're expected to be at a higher standard. It's just the way that things are in the world, right? Whether that's fair, whether it's not. Players are held to a higher standard. Hell, I've been told I'm even held to a higher standard. But a TikTok video showed Mark Davis yelling at a Raider fan to smarten up. That fan essentially was chanting F. McDaniels. There's other fans chanting fire Josh McDaniels. And you can read his lips. It says, smarten up. I get it that Raider fans are frustrated. And I get that Mark Davis is frustrated, whether you like to believe that or not. But fans yelling at Davis all game against the Chargers last Sunday, I hope it wakes him up a little bit. And the reason that he's a passionate human being, I'm talking about Mark, is because nobody likes to fail, right? I can sit up here and I can rip Mark a new one left and right, left and right. Nobody likes to be a failure, especially when it's your father's team. I know a lot of people don't think very highly of Mark Davis, but I just can't wrap my mind around the idea that somebody likes to fail, especially when your father is the one that started the company, started the Raiders in a sense. But I also get it from a Raiders fan standpoint that's saying, hey, asshole, we've been terrible since you have taken over. You got Josh McDaniels here as our head coach, and all we're doing is just begging you to see what everybody else is seeing. I also get it, though, from Mark saying, like, hey, you know what? We're going to take it a little bit slower this time. We're going to let the process play out. The problem is, would you watch a movie if you knew the ending to it? I know the ending to the Raiders season this year. I knew the ending before the Raiders even hired Josh McDaniels. It's a nightmare of an ending. But if you want to sit through the entire movie, Mark, I'll let you sit through the entire movie. Because the only way, and I wonder what the only way is going to be to open up Davis's eyes, and I remember last season, Week 17, Week 18, Chiefs, 49ers, a lot of red. And he was angry about it, as he should be. He's used to the Oakland Coliseum packed with nothing but silver and black, and now you're in a situation where every single game the Raiders play at home, the other team is taking that over. And I wonder if the only way that's going to open his eyes is if it is an empty stadium on Monday Night Football when the entire world is watching and all you see at Allegiant Stadium is nothing but green and yellow. I want Raider fans to go to Raider games for them. I want Raider fans to go to Raiders games to create memories with the most important people in your life and other Raider fans around you. However, though, if Mark Davis sees that nobody's there, it might open his eyes a little bit. Also, what might open his eyes here a little bit is what could potentially happen over the next 4 weeks, because to me, the entire Raiders season is going to be dictated right here. If the Raiders lose to the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football and they drop down to 1-4, boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you thought the Fire McDaniel stuff was bad then, just wait. Because then, God forbid, if they lose to New England, you're in a situation here where then you're going up against the Chicago Bears. Do you decide to lose that game so you have a better shot at Caleb Williams? I don't have the answer to that. All I know is you got a lot of games coming up. But after Week 8 is when the NFL trade deadline starts. You're 1-3 right now. 1-3 right now. You can win 3 out of your next 4. You do that, you go 4-4, and you calm down a little bit. If you lose 2, 3 of these games, it's going to get really ugly. And a lot of the home games the Raiders have later on in the season, I'm sorry, I don't see a lot of Raider fans going to those games. So after seeing right now the next 4 games here for the Silver and Black, I want you to predict it for me. Las Vegas is 1-3 as it stands right now. What will the Raiders' record be after Week 8? What do you think? You're 1-3. You're going up against the 2-2 Packers, the 1-3 Patriots, 0-4 Bears, and then the 3-1 Detroit Lions. My answer is going to be right after this YouTube ad break. I'm not going to sit up here and say that the Raiders are going to be 4-4, but they better be 4-4. I know there's a lot of Raider fans out there that want to tank for Caleb Williams, and if you told me I could close my eyes and I'd wake up and the Raiders have Caleb Williams, I'd do it. If you told me that I could do the exact same thing and have Drake May, shit, man, I'd probably do that too. But I can never sit up here and do this show. I can never sit and look at a bunch of Raider fans in the eyes and say tanking is the right thing. These guys make way too much money. Fans spend way too much money to go to these games, and players to tank and not give it their all, I cannot do it. But Mark Davis, mark my words, you better smarten up on Josh McDaniels really quick, because if the Raiders aren't 4-4 by the NFL trade deadline, it is going to be one ugly scenario going down in Las Vegas. The other part of this equation is this part, right? Because, yes, the Raiders are 1-3. What happens if they lose to the Green Bay Packers? What happens if they lose to the New England Patriots? I mean, very possible to lose to both of those teams. At this point, I don't know if the Raiders are going to be favored another time for the rest of the season. If you're 1-5 and you're going up against the Chicago Bears, the Bears right now are the team that has the number 1 and the number 2 overall pick. The Raiders, if the draft were to start today, you would have pick number 3. I actually think that if the Raiders are 1-5 up against the Bears at this point, you do actually have to have the consideration of the conversation. Do we actually just throw the season away? You trade away all your players at the NFL trade deadline. You try to lose to Chicago and put yourself in a position to go out and get Caleb Williams. But remember, if you're going to go out and get Caleb Williams, you better fire McDaniels. There is no freaking way you can have Josh McDaniels making a pick in the top 5. If the Raiders are in the top 5 and McDaniels is still the head coach of this football team, honestly, the NFL should investigate Mark Davis because he shouldn't even be allowed to own this team anymore. So as you can see right now, the 2024 NFL Draft, and coming up here next on the show is PFF's latest mock draft. I can't even believe I'm talking about mock drafts on October 3rd. That's how sad that is. October 3rd, I'm talking mock drafts. But you know what? When the Raiders play that the way that they've been playing, unfortunately, I got to do it. And it sucks to talk about it. But hey, the only way that we're going to get better is if we find our franchise quarterback. But I do want to show some love out there to the nation for people being a part of the Noti Gang, the real ones out there, because to me, man, I know how frustrating this season is. But the fact that some people still are not only subscribed, have their notifications turned on, and as soon as I drop a video, take pride in trying to be one of the first 5, 10 people to comment on that video, I'm telling you what right now, I can't express to you enough how much that means to me. So big 2, yeah, Greenfield, Clay, Mr. Grinch, and Jim Bean, I salute every single one of y'all. If you want to see your name on a future Raiders Report show, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and try to be a part of the Noti Gang and comment first on a video. If you're like Mitch, why else should I subscribe? Right here. Here's the number one reason why you should subscribe to the Raiders Report. If you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, I can promise you there is not another Raiders content creator alive that is more dedicated to getting the nation's voice out there to the people that it matters to, because I don't know who it matters to, but getting your voice to the people out there that the nation does not want Josh McDaniels. I'm going to do this every day until they make the right decision. Or the Raiders make the playoffs. Because if they don't make the playoffs, even that, I might say, get rid of the clown. All right, let's go to the next thing right here. The Raiders are going to have a top 5 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Does anybody have a quarter? Does anybody have a quarter out there? Flip it in the air right now. Is it heads? Because that's the likelihood of the Raiders having a top 5 pick, which makes me sick to my stomach. And we're going to find out what type of team this Raiders team is over the next 3 weeks. You really are. If the Raiders are bad against Green Bay and you're 1-4, you're like, oh, shit, this might go downhill. If the Raiders beat the Green Bay Packers, I think that they beat the New England Patriots. I think that they beat the Chicago Bears. And now you're 3-3. It's a lot different of a feeling. Or no, you're 4-3 at that point. If you can be 4-4 by the NFL trade deadline, this Raiders team will try to win football games, and they might actually try to go out and trade for players instead of trying to trade players away. So here's PFF's latest mock draft. The Chicago Bears ended up taking Caleb Williams. They also ended up taking Marvin Harrison Jr., which if I was the Bears and I couldn't get anybody to bite to trade up to number 2, though I'll be honest with you, I do think that a team would try to trade up to number 2 to get Drake May. But if Chicago, no trades end up going down, this is the route I would go if I was Chicago, which that means now Drake May falls in the lap of the silver and black. And for a lot of people that watch the show, you know that I'm a big, big Drake May fan. I will admit, I'm a little bit less high on him now than I was before the season started because Caleb Williams has played so superior. And yes, Drake May has struggled a little bit, but to me, it's not as much on May. This is what PFF had to say on the Raiders taking the UNC quarterback. May is the easy next choice at quarterback after Caleb Williams. He recorded elite passing grades in each of the past 2 seasons, 90.8 in 2022 and 90.1 in 2023, with an incredible 45 big-time throws in 2022. When I watch Drake May play, okay, and I'm not saying that he's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying that he's going to be Justin Herbert. I am saying that the athletic tools and the upstairs, because you could talk about a quarterback like Caleb Williams from an athletic standpoint. He is as good as it comes athletically. But I actually think Drake May is a lot sharper up here than Caleb Williams is, and that's why I've liked Drake May. But if you put May in the right system, you get him the right coaching, I do. I think he can be a Justin Herbert level style of quarterback. I think he can be an almost Aaron Rodgers style of quarterback. His arm talent reminds me of Rodgers. His athletic ability, his cool, calm, and collectiveness reminds me of Justin Herbert. What sucks is the North Carolina Tar Heels, watching their players try to play receiver and tight end, here's clear as day. They don't have a single guy on that team, and I mean this from a talent, skill, position standpoint. They don't have a single dude that's even going to sniff the NFL. And it sucks, and it's impacting May. They're also being able to run the football a lot more effectively this year, and the numbers show that. I mean, a completion percentage of 72.7%, which is extremely high. Yards at 1,187. 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But last season, guess what? He did have NFL talent. He had 2 receivers that ended up getting drafted. And when you have players, guess what, that are talented, it's going to make your job look a lot easier. If you put Drake May on this Raiders offense right now, you put Drake May on this Raiders offense right now with Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper, this offensive line, I actually think that the Raiders might have a top 10 offense. That's how good I think Drake May is. You put Caleb Williams on this team right now, you definitely have a top 10 offense. I think at worst, you're top 16 if you have Drake May right now. But here's what I want to know. If Caleb Williams is gone, who would you want the Raiders to draft if they selected a QB? Would you want Drake May? Would you want a Quinn Ewers? We had a watcher earlier on today's live show said that they want Penix Jr. from Washington. This show is about getting your opinion. It's a super chat. Yeah, Joe Cole said, why not Quinn or Bo Nix over May? Quinn Ewers, arm talent-wise, is right up there. Bo Nix, to me, is a check-down artist. I want nothing to do with Bo Nix on any NFL team at all. The only team I think Bo Nix could have that could succeed on for Bo is honestly the San Francisco 49ers and play that Brock Purdy role. So again, I would love to have Drake May or Caleb Williams, but it doesn't matter who your quarterback is if you have McDaniels as the head coach. So I get it. We can sit up here and talk about Caleb. We can sit up here and talk about Drake May. We can do all these right things. But if the Raiders don't do the most important thing, and if you don't get a different head coach, McDaniels is going to ruin these two guys. Because if you can't coach and you can't lead, it's not going to happen. So you need to go out, find a head coach that says, hey, I can work with these two guys, two coaches that actually know what they're doing at the quarterback position. Oh, man. Are the Chiefs the luckiest team with late game penalties? Yes.
And?
It's not close.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Oh, my goodness.
The amount of help that, I mean, as if.
Like they need the help.
I know. They don't need the help. And now you got Taylor Swift, which definitely doesn't help. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. Like, I'm definitely a person that doesn't believe that football is
rigged, scripted.
But they make me at times think that football is rigged or scripted. All right, we got a few more people for the duck race.
It's absolutely.
Javier, you in. Luis Rodriguez, you in. Ira Jackson, you in. But here's the thing, Ira. Ira sent a 50. So, Ira, what do you want to do here? Do you want me to send back 40? Or if we do another duck race at the end of the show, all you got to do is send in another 10. We'll do a $50 duck race at the end of the show. Ira, I'll let you think about it.
Ira, we changed it to 10 because nobody was in for 50.
Correct.
Everybody was saying only 10.
Yeah,
so
Ira.
We changed the duck race to 10. And Mongol Raider, I saw your super chat. For the duck race, you only can Venmo. Because the only way we can send it back to you is through Venmo. So the only way to get a duck in the race is by using Venmo. And I saw Daniel Caps Keenan. I don't have a Venmo.
Make one.
It takes 2 minutes to set it up.
Make one. And I'm not like lying to you. My dad, he's not very good with technology. And my dad and I, we live very far apart. I think it's the easiest app to be able to like transfer money. So again, I was just with my family this weekend, right? My cousin, guess what I did? His wedding gift, sent him Venmo. My dad for the hotel, I paid for the hotel. He said, Mitch, I'll pay for one of the nights. Sent me money on Venmo. Easy. I mean, it's just Doesn't cost anything. For people not to use apps like this in today's day and age, blows my mind. If you're still writing checks to people like my mother,
I was going to say, it's like somebody who, that's like saying like, oh, I don't use card.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have a debit card or a credit card? No, I just cash.
I use cash. Instead of texting somebody, you write them a postcard, writing them an email. I mean, it's just, you can't do it anymore. What up, Ray? At first, I wanted Jimmy G to start because we were playing him to start, but I agree he's not the future. AOC did look more comfortable in the second half. Throw him back in to see what he can do. I mean, that's kind of where I was standing as well. Like, you know, it's not like Jimmy Garoppolo in this Raiders offense has been amazing. With Jimmy Garoppolo this season, the Raiders are averaging 16 points per game. Well, the Raiders scored 17 against the Chargers. Again, it's not that much of an improvement. However, I would like to see what Aidan could do if you gave him more time, gave him more reps, and continually just did that over and over and over again. Who knows? Maybe Aidan O'Connell could be better because I'll tell you this, the eye test to me, as bad as what Aidan was, I still have more confidence in him being able to throw the football than Jimmy Garoppolo because Garoppolo out there, he's slinging ducks. What up, Sal? Can we all just admit Davis made a huge mistake and we are better off with Carr and Bisaccia? Here's my problem, man.
It's a thread.
Oh, easily a playoff team last year with Adams and retaining Bisaccia. Definitely believe Gruden's son is still in the building for a reason. Eyes inside the facility. Very interesting. First off, I know Deuce personally, partied with him in college. He's not that type of person, so I wouldn't even make those type of connections there. Second, on top of that, moving on from Derek Carr was 100% the right thing to do. Like, the Raiders would not be in – I don't think the Raiders are in a different position right now if you have DC. Like, moving on from Derek Carr was honestly one of the smartest things that Josh McDaniels and this organization has done. Like, you can't settle for a QB that's not
everything you do
top 20 QB in the NFL.
Everything you do needs to be to try to win a Super Bowl. That
Correct.
is the only goal. That is the only thing every team strives for, is to win a Super Bowl.
And I don't like. I agree here with Sheffield. Like, why do you want Gruden back? Like, I don't understand wanting Gruden back. You can have any other head coach. You could have any other quarterback. Like, I get that Derek Carr was a part of this team for a long time, but why settle for a QB that you know is never going to be able to win you a Super Bowl, right? Like, you don't even know if he's going to be able to get you to the playoffs. The Raiders were in a spot where they could have done a reset. The problem is they hired the wrong people to do a reset. What up, Mongol Raider? If my Raiders can't win, maybe my Duck can. Mongol, unfortunately, though, man, you got to send me a Venmo.
Or maybe he has, and it's not under Mongol Raider. I don't know.
Let me see here, then, because we do have a few more. I got William Yin. I got Juan M.A. Yin. We got Ray Cald Yin. Patrick B. Yin. And then Sean Navarro again. Yin. So right now as it stands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The winner would get $65. And I still have yet to hear back from Ira Jackson.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, wait.
Ooh.
Yeah, all right. So Ira says, send me back. All right, hang on a second here, Ira. He thought we were still going for the boot.
Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a million times.
All right, Ira, I just sent you that 40 back. I am for real.
Thank you.
Dominic, say the season goes bad. We get the third pick. Is it possible we trade Adams for the second-round pick, take Marvin Harrison, and draft May? I'll tell you what right now. That would be intriguing. If you could trade the number 2 overall. If I was Chicago, I probably would want more. And if I'm Chicago, I'd probably rather.
The only reason no is because if Chicago drafts number 1.
Yep.
And they have the number 2 pick. At that point,
you're better off taking the young receiver.
You're better off taking the younger guy. Because Adams is what? He's 29?
Oh, man. He might even be 30.
Like, he's good, but I'd rather take the best receiver in the draft.
Davante will be 31 this year.
You take the guy who's 22.
Yep. I mean, it'd be intriguing. Yeah, he's 30 right now. His birthday's Christmas Eve.
This next guy, I'm not going to put your super chat up because that's not cool, man.
What did he do?
Just look, his name is not.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, here's the other part, guys. Like, we appreciate people that do stuff, but if you're going to try to do that, I ain't doing that. Anthony, what's up, man? Let's go to Josh Melton. McDummy is the problem. I blame him for Chandler Jones. I don't think that's fair. Jones went off on him, and there might be some truth there. Only time will tell. I mean, here's the problem, Josh. I don't even want to consider what, Chandler Jones is saying to be true because of the amount of crazy things that he threw out there. Like, and I know what you're referring to. It might be true. It might not be true. But the problem is you can't even consider anything that Chandler Jones said to be relevant because of how out of bounds he was thinking. And then the other sad part of it is this, right? If Chandler Jones is going to speak because what you're referring to is essentially a child getting molested, then I think it's just as bad for Chandler Jones to sit up there and say, I'm not going to tell anybody if you play me. I mean, if my goddaughter or if I forget what the whole scenario was happening to them, you would go to the police instantly. You wouldn't go on social media and say, if you let me play, I'm not going to tell anybody. That makes you just as bad. Like, I get what you're trying to put together here because you don't trust McDaniels, but to sit up there and say that you believe Chandler Jones, I think that's not, I know it's not a hill that I'm going to die on. Let's go to Michael. Who else is sick of all the Swift? Oh, bro. What's funny is here at Chat Sports, we literally were just talking about this the other day. Like, I can't stand all of the I mean, you see more of Taylor Swift than you do anything else on an NFL game. But then I also understand it from the broadcaster standpoint because we do things that are very similar to showing Taylor Swift on screen, right? Like, I know for a fact you guys probably got sick and tired of me saying, hey, hit that subscribe button. Hey, like the video. Hey, go comment this. There's a lot of people who are like, holy shit, Mitch, we get it. But you know what? It works. And like, when we want y'all to do something, we have to be able to communicate that to you. And they know when Taylor Swift is showing up on screen, the eyeballs go. I know this. When the Raiders and Chiefs play, if Kelsey and Swifty are still together, shit, even if they aren't, we're going to have some special Taylor Swift deals for those games. What up, Dylan? If we somehow land Caleb Williams, which new head coach would you most trust to develop him? I said this in my Josh McDaniels replacements video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's on the video. I had 6 offensive-minded coaches and then 5 defensive-minded coaches. If I'm the Raiders and I have the number 1 overall pick and you have Caleb Williams, Mark Davis needs to figure it out. He needs to reach into his pocketbook, and he needs to say, Lincoln, I'm going to make you the highest-paid NFL head coach ever. And you do everything in your power to bring Lincoln Riley, a guy that has been with him at Oklahoma, took him to USC. Those two are like, honestly, their bond reminds me a lot of like the Drew Brees, Sean Payton bond that they had where it was on a whole different level. And when you have a coaching bond like that with your number 1 overall pick, I don't think that you can fail. And for the Raiders, with as bad as they have been, you bring those 2 guys in, and I guarantee you that you're not going to fail. It's worth every single penny that you got. I think that's what you do. Daniel, my sister that has only been watching the NFL for 2 years was confused why McDaniels didn't go for it on 4th down and why he didn't kick the 55-yard field goal. And that's the other part of this, right? Like your sister who's only been watching football for 2 years understands more than what McDaniels does at times. And I think, I laugh when I hear a guy like McDaniels talk and he kind of belittles the media or he'll like belittle people that, give him criticism. And he kind of, does this whole, well, you're not an NFL head coach. You don't understand. You're right. I don't know what it takes to be an NFL head coach. I don't get it. But I do know this. If you were to put 95% of Raider fans right now in charge of the Raiders from a drafting, a talent evaluation, of a construction roster standpoint, it's bad when most fans can do it a better job than the guys that are actually doing it. And if the Raiders say, well, that's ridiculous to even think about, I'd say go back and look at Gruden. Go back and look at Mayock. Go back and look at the past drafts, the past seasons. I think that I have a very strong argument that I'm sorry, the fans would have done a better job, which is a mind-blowing thing to say. Josh, for sure, Mitch, but what triggered him? McDummy. I don't know what triggered him.
I mean, he seems like
there's
some sort of imbalance with his medication.
I would say that this has been going on for way longer than what it's been indicated, and I talked about this on a show before. You got to read the tea leaves, right? Like I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Unfortunately, with this situation, there was a fire, and you needed to go back and look at all the smoke. Like, is it that crazy to think that Chandler had this problem building up the entire offseason, right? Everyone was like, oh, he lost all this weight. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. I mean, I know a lot of friends, past friends, I guess I should say, that got tied up into things that they shouldn't, and guess what? You lose a lot of weight. And now he's not a captain anymore. You know, you missed 10 straight practices. He posted a picture back in early August with him having an issue. He buys head coach, sunglasses, and 24 hours later says he doesn't want to play for the Raiders. Like, this is a beyond football problem. And, as a Raider fan, I want what's best for the Raiders, and they needed to move on from Chandler Jones. As a human being, I want what's best for Chandler, and he needs to be able to get some help. Some people need to be able to rally around him because that family has had some substance abuse problems. Let's keep it real here. And when you have those past things, you need people to get in your corner, and it just goes beyond football. Chandler Jones should never play in the NFL again. I am that strong on that. I said it, a month ago when the whole thing came out. It's a fact. He should never be allowed to play in the NFL again because of where he's at currently. It's that dark right now for Chandler Jones. All right, y'all, we got one more person that just entered the duck race here.
Here's Mitch's Venmo, at MitchellRenz365, or you can take your phone out, scan the QR code on the screen right there with Mitch, his little face in the middle of it.
I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this name right. Hosden? You're in. You just sent me one. So right now, we are at 140, which means winner gets $70. Winner gets $70 in our duck race here. Venmo 50-50. We're going to end up doing this probably at the end of the show. It's probably how it's going to end up going down unless we do it after this segment, and then we do another one for people to get in again. What do you think?
We could try, yeah.
We could try it? Let's try it. After this segment here, we're going to do this duck race. So coming up, it's going to be stock up, stock down. I like to do winners and losers. It's kind of the same thing here. Talking about something a little bit different. Wanted to try a different segment on today's show. If you guys want to add me as a friend on Venmo, you can also do that because I know some people want to do that. So Jason, you in? I just saw that I got a friend request. Believe me, I'm the same way. I won't send anybody money unless I'm a friend. So if you want to add me, Scott, I just added you. Sean, I confirmed your friend request. We got Guadalupe.
In this empty Rays stadium, Dick Vitale sitting at the bottom.
Oh, dude, there's nothing better.
Baby!
Dick
the
Vitale.
Rangers!
Oh, man.
They're kicking our butts! The Danda Babies!
The diaper dandies.
The diaper dandies!
Oh, man. 15 people in the duck race as it stands, and now we got 16. Scott, you in.
You have a pretty good Dick Vitale. What does he sound like?
I have a good Dick Vitale. I appreciate that. He's a diaper dandy, baby. Dipsy-doo, dunkaroo. That was awesome with a capital A. That's what I got.
John, you're up next on the Raiders Report.
Do you like my dick? Vitale. Yeah, I'm a diehard Raider fan, but this is just not in Josh McDaniels' problem. This has been a Raiders problem for the last 40 years, and I pray for one day we can get it right. But I love my Raider Nation family. I know that it's been a Raider problem. Just because it's been a Raider problem for a long time doesn't mean it's not a Josh McDaniels problem, right? Like, watch the games. I know you do. It's also a McDaniels problem. McDaniels started his coaching career 6-0. Got in trouble for cheating, got in trouble for filming. Since then, he's 12-31.
Cheaters are the worst.
12-31. I agree that this is a bigger problem outside of McDaniels, right? Like, Mark Davis is responsible. You got to just strip everything down because the people who evaluate talent, I mean, it's all around bad, bad, bad. Honestly, you should do what the Houston Texans did. You bring in a new head coach and you just rip everything down from the very, very top to the very, very bottom, and you just start fresh. That's what the Raiders need to do. That's what they need to do.
Which,
like, it wasn't just a Derek Carr problem, but he was also part of the problem.
That does go a little bit against what you would do, though.
Maybe.
They tanked without saying they were gonna.
Sure.
They tanked 2 seasons.
Sure, I hear you, but sometimes you got, like, at this point now, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do because they're trying to win and they're bad. That's the worst combination you could possibly have. All right, Jeffrey, I got a few more friends here.
Jeffrey, why would I do that?
What?
The Astros already won last year legitimately. They don't need trash cans. They're the best team in the league.
You think?
I mean, last year proved it. I think I know.
All right. All right, we got a few more here. Omar, you in? Dijon? You in? Guys, you're going to find out I'm terrible with names. And Brian Littleton, you also in.
I am punchy. Why F the Astros? They're so good.
He's an Astros fan, for those that do not know. All right, I'm going to refresh again. We're going to do this segment here. Final chance to get in for our Duck Race 50-50 raffle, which right now would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 exactly. Winner gets $100.
10 to 100.
Hey, it's pretty good. Put in 10 for a chance to win 100 doll hairs. It's a lot of doll hairs. All right, Chuggy Bull, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Chuggs is ready. Are y'all ready? If you're ready, spam or right now. Coming up here, it's time for Stock Up, Stock Down here on the Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, I got a little my stock version, if you will. Raiders stock up, stock down, entering their Week 5 matchup going up against the Green Bay Packers. This is a big game. It's Monday Night Football. All eyes are going to be on the silver and black. So what I decided to do here is just tell you some people that as it stands right now, if they were a stock, it's either going to go up or it's about to go down. Let's go to the quarterback position, and it's Jimmy Garoppolo, and his stock is up. And the only reason why it's up is because, well, Josh McDaniels named him the starter in Week 5 against the Green Bay Packers. I know I have asked y'all for a long time, would you roll with Aidan O'Connell? Would you roll with the veteran Jimmy G? They're deciding to roll with Jimmy G, so for that reason, the stock is going to go up. The other reason why I believe that the stock could go up here for Garoppolo is because the next 3 games are easier opponents for the silver and black. You have a shot to beat the Green Bay Packers. It's possible, right? Like, if Green Bay, who's 2-2 right now, if the New Orleans Saints didn't lose Derek Carr, I don't know if they would have won that game. You would have been going up against the 1-3 potentially Green Bay Packer team. Then you got the 1-3 New England Patriots who are going to be without Matthew Judon and have maybe even more problems at the quarterback position. And then the worst team in the NFL right now, the Chicago Bears, in Week 7. If Garoppolo can put together 3 solid games, doesn't turn the ball over, the Raiders have a shot to win their next 3. And if you go to get the back to 4-3, stock is up again. Let's go to the next player here. It's Hunter Renfrow, and his stock is down. Unfortunately for Renfrow, he's not really getting used, but let me just say this. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to see more from Hunter, but watch the film. Watch the tape. Hunter Renfrow is not playing good football right now. For people that like PFF grades, he is rated the 111th wide receiver out of 113. His routes aren't as crisp. He looks disinterested. And I can also sit up here and say, well, you know what? I get it. Maybe he's disinterested because he's not getting the amount of run that he once did. But the Hunter Renfrow that you saw 2 years ago compared to the Hunter Renfrow that you see now, I'm sitting up here saying I'm a big Renfrow supporter. It does not quite look the same. I also got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Sups, for always showing out for us here. And if you want to get hooked up with them, use code FIREJOSH for 25% off at pandasups.com. Speaking of fire Josh, if you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, give me some fire emojis down below for those watching live, but also hit that subscribe button. I pledge to you this. I pledge to you that you will not find another Raiders host out there on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram that is trying harder to have the nation's voice heard, because Raider Nation wants the clown gone, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see if we can make it happen. I also got to give a shout-out to some people here that are part of the Noti gang. Shout out to Raider Roger, Catch 22, bruh, El Raider 88, T-Champ, and Steel Cage Savage. This season has got some ups and downs, but I know that Raider Nation will always be here, and I appreciate that. If you want to see your name on a future show, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and try to be one of the first 5 people that comments on my videos. Let's go to the next one here. Davante Adams' stock is up. In fact, when Davante Adams had Jimmy Garoppolo, his stats were a lot better. Garoppolo continually targeted Davante. Seems like that they had a little bit, maybe a better of a connection compared to Aidan O'Connell, because O'Connell missed Davante definitely on 1-2 routes. But Jimmy G was looking at Davante's way almost too much. And, you know, I say almost too much, and I kind of roll my eyes at myself because, shit, I mean, if I had Davante Adams on my team, I would also look to target him as much as humanly possible. But I do think when you have 2 veterans who can probably get on the same page, maybe a little bit quicker than a rookie, the stock is up for Davante. But I don't know if Davante's stock has ever gone down. I know I just mentioned Panda Subs, but they are today's show sponsor. Again, it is code FIREJOSH for 25% off at pandasubs.com. Let's go to the next one here. Rolling in, it's Jermaine Eluemunor, and his stock is down. I mean, oh, Jermaine, you're my guy. You know that, but it was a really, really rough football game this past week against the Los Angeles Chargers. Maybe one of the most other frustrating things was McDaniels saying that he tried everything humanly possible to stop Khalil Mack, who had 6 sacks. However, according to Next Gen Stats, Khalil Mack was only double-teamed twice. And I know that you might not always want to have to double-team an edge rusher because it opens up something else. But, you know, if you need to be able to protect your rookie quarterback, you got to be able to do what makes the most sense. Coming off a game as bad as what Jermaine had, there's some people out there that want the Raiders to start Thayer Munford, who, when he's had opportunities, has played halfway decent. Now, to me, I would never bench Jermaine Eluemunor. If anything, I would try to kick him to another position, maybe as a guard. But here's my question to you. If you could pick a right tackle, Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, would you go with Jermaine Eluemunor, who's had some costly penalties, had a really bad game last week, has been probably the worst offensive lineman as it stands right now here on the silver and black team? Or would you go with Thayer Munford, the second-year guy, 7th rounder? Would you go with Thayer Munford? Would you go with Jermaine Eluemunor, J.E. for Eluemunor, T.M. for Thayer Munford? Me personally, I like the idea of having Munford get some reps down the road, but Jermaine Eluemunor is still the superior offensive lineman. He is still the superior right tackle, in my personal opinion. And yes, he's had some ups and downs, no doubt about it. But the Raiders have a better shot at winning football games with Jermaine Eluemunor than they do Thayer Munford. If the Raiders turn into this in terms of like they're just throwing the season away and they go into tank mode and they want to get more reps than out of Munford, that's when you go and you start Munford. If you're still trying to win games, though, it's with Jermaine Eluemunor. The final player is Josh Jacobs, and his stock is going down. The fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be back under center means to me that teams are going to be stacking the box just like that they were in the first 3 weeks of the season. Yes, they still stacked the box against Aidan O'Connell, but it wasn't nearly as much. And you saw Josh Jacobs kind of get it going a little bit last week against the Chargers. 25 touches, 139 yards of total offense, and a touchdown compared to the weeks prior to that where he just couldn't get anything going. And guess what? I think it's going to happen again. My fantasy team doesn't want it to happen again, but when you have a quarterback that can't throw the football past 40 yards, when you have an offense, because their quarterback's limitations can really only work with 20 yards, you're going up against red zone stacks every single time you call hike. And for that reason, it's stocked down for Josh Jacobs. I mean, look at these total yards right here throughout the season. In week 1, he had 71. In week 2, he had 49. Week 3, 80. Week 4, that was the 139 game with Aidan O'Connell. I don't anticipate you're going to see something like we did in Buffalo. What I'm really hoping McDaniels does is he goes, okay, if we can't run the ball between the tackles right now with our offensive line, maybe we decide to throw the ball to him a little bit more like they did last week. Either way, you need to get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and there's no denying that Josh Jacobs is an absolute baller. Now, Raider Nation, today's show is again presented by Panda Sups, and I love what they have for the nation, and I love Panda because they get the nation probably better than any sponsor I have here. Use code FIREJOSH for 25% off at pandasups.com. That link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. But me personally, I love their protein. I think it is a extremely high quality. Panda Sups fuels the finest multi-phase premium blended protein to ever hit the market using premium ingredients with a plethora of trademarked ingredients backed by studies and clinical research. Panda will keep you safe from false claims and empty promises. So get ready to get fueled for hours with our deliciously scrumptious powder containing 30 grams of protein per scoop, only 4 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugar, and 140 calories. They also have this awesome probiotic blend, which I personally need for me, especially when I do try to eat as much protein, so, I don't stink so bad. Also, though, they have fat burners, which I do personally use on a weekly basis. And if you don't know what they are, Panda Cups Extreme Thermogenic is an advanced multi-stage fat burner that helps boost metabolism, curb your appetite, and give you superior focus and loads of energy without the crash. With no proprietary blend, Panda Cuts is packed with some of the best trademarked ingredients in the industry, backed by science. So again, use code FIREJOSH, I think we can all remember that, for 25% off at pandasups.com. Shout out to them for hooking up the nation. Let's keep this stock up, stock down, rolling here. And now we're going to go to the defensive side of the football. First guy, Maxx Crosby. His stock is always, always up. In fact, his stock might as well be like Amazon, where that thing is always going to be worth some money. It's Apple, it's Google. Keep that thing going to the stars because he is the most underappreciated player in the NFL. He is the best defender you got on your team. He is the face of this franchise, and he continues to show every single day that he's that guy. He's him, and he's not going anywhere. I know there's some people out there saying, the Raiders could trade him. No, the Raiders aren't trading Maxx Crosby. And if anybody's out there pushing that narrative that they might, that they could, that they will, you can send them this video or you can just send them to me at MitchellRenz365. Let's go to the next player. It's at the defensive tackle group, Jerry Tillery. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to know where we're going with this one. His stock is down, down, down. It's so far down, I don't even know what to even think of it. Jerry Tillery's late hit against Justin Herbert got him thrown out, which just goes to show that Tillery is still a knucklehead like he's always been, and I can't wrap my mind around the idea of why the Raiders even brought him back. Like, he was terrible to finish last season. Yeah, he was good in his first few games, but when you go back and you look at every single metric, Tillery sucked at the end of last season, and now you bring him onto this team when you're supposed to have the right guys do certain things, and he still continually sucks. Like, he tried to decapitate Herbert because he wanted the revenge game. He's going up against his old team, and I'm glad they threw him out of the game. If somebody would have hit my quarterback like that, believe me, I can't stand the idea of having Jimmy Garoppolo behind center right now. If somebody would have hit Aidan O'Connell like that, hell, if somebody would hit Derek Carr like that last season, I would have said, get him the hell out of the game. Jerry Tillery is a bum. He stinks at football, and I hope the Raiders cut him. And that's how much I'm done with Jerry Tillery. That guy has no business repping silver and black. Get him off the field. Play some of your younger guys, because Tillery, he ain't it. Let's go to the next player here. Tre'von Moehrig, stock up. Let's freaking go, man. I love the idea that Moehrig is coming off the best game of his entire career. He was one of the only Raiders players last week to score a elite grade according to PFF. He had an over 90 overall grade, and he's been playing a lot better, which kind of makes me laugh because he's got a club on his hand now. He's been reading the field better. He's been playing zone better. He's been hitting guys better. He would have had an interception if it wasn't for that club on his hand because he had an opportunity back in the end zone, jumped the route really well. But Moehrig is starting to play the way that I think we were hoping that he was going to end up playing. And if he keeps playing the way that he is, the Raiders found their safety. And God, I hope that the Raiders found their safety. How about this, though? Anytime you talk about stock up, stock down, there's always players that when their stock goes down, maybe another guy deserves a little bit more playing time. So I want you to get in the comments right now, and I want you to name a player that deserves more playing time. For me personally, one player that I believe deserves more time is Luke Masterson. Guy's been flying all over the football field, been playing a lot better, And there's one guy coming up here on the show that, unfortunately, hasn't been playing as well, which is why I want to see Masterson on the field just a little bit more. Let's go back to defensive tackle here. Let's talk about John Jenkins because his stock is up. The 34-year-old veteran, the man who used to work with Rob Leonard down with the Miami Dolphins. He's the best defensive tackle this team has right now. And I don't want to say it's not close, but man, oh man, the guy that I have the most faith in is John frickin' Jenkins, a defensive tackle that got beat by Buddy Ryan this summer doing a lap around the field. Jenkins is the best player on this defensive tackle group, which maybe isn't saying much, but he deserves more playing time. He deserves to start. He deserves to get his reps out there. Man, oh man, oh man, I want to see more of John Jenkins, and I don't know if I ever thought I'd say that. Then the final player here, stock down, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit because he was trending in the right direction, but over the past 3 weeks, his performances have gotten worse, and then this past game against the Chargers was just downright disgraceful. It's Davante Deablo at linebacker. Davante, I think he missed 3 or 4 tackles. I got to go back and watch the tape again. I know for a fact he missed 3 tackles, though, in this Chargers game. And week 1, he comes out, he's covering, he's looking good. Maybe it's just because the Denver Broncos aren't very good. Was not good against Buffalo, though nobody was, so throw that game out. Against Pittsburgh Steelers, wasn't good. Now go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Really wasn't good in that game either. His stock continues to go down and down, and I just get worried that we're never going to find a place for Davante Deablo, which is frustrating because he's got the talent. He just needs to be able to put it together. So one more time here. Here is my stock up, stock down. Jimmy Garoppolo, Hunter Renfrow, Davante Adams, Jermaine Eluemunor, Josh Jacobs, 3 stocks down, 2 are up. And then on the next graphic here on defense, 2 down, 3 up. And you're right. C2E says Deablo missed the sack, which was ludicrous. That sack also, which I'm glad you brought it up, that also was a back-breaking style of play that Divine, let's just be able to face it, needs to be able to clean it up, needs to be able to get it together. If you made it this far in the video, shout out to y'all. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram. Make sure you hit me up on Twitter. I'm at MitchellRenz365. All right, Nation, we got some more people here for the duck race. Chuggs, I'm actually going to change my jersey here real quick, so if you could pop up on screen, or if you don't mind, you'll be fine.
Yeah. No, yeah. I got you. If you want to enter the duck race, $10 Venmo to get in. And I have a question that I'm interested in your answers. One word to describe the Raiders season so far. What would that word be? Look in your dictionary, look in your thesaurus. One word. How would you describe the Raiders season so far? Ghostmaster, terrible. Chaotic, typical, disaster, feces, shitstorm, awful, frustrating, egregious, disappointment, cursed, expected, same, disappointing, usual, typical, facepalm, embarrassing, disgraceful, disappointing again, flabbergasted, shit show, reminiscing, grotesque, horrifying, bad, disappointed, embarrassing, shame, graceful, shame, embarrassing, shame.
Name that show. Name that show.
One of the top 3 shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, in terms of a show that I didn't know if I was going to like,
shame.
And I ended up loving it, because I don't love medieval shows, but once in a while, it's definitely not a bad thing.
They need to do with that from that episode. They need to do that with McDaniels along Las Vegas Boulevard. Just walking in front of the wind. Shame.
You don't have to do it naked, though, Josh. You can still wear it. You got to wear your visor. That's it.
Just the visor?
Just the visor.
Just the visor and the headset.
That's it. We got 23 people in the duck race, which means winner gets 115. Does that math check out, or is it 110?
Say that again?
We got 23 people in.
$230. Half that piece, $115.
115. All right.
Dude, Wendy's has pumpkin spice Frosties.
Oh, I saw it on commercial the other day. I go, holy shit. Unbelievable. D. Sterling says,
Dude.
Put in Zaddy Chuggs at tackle. Easy 94 PFF grade. I think they're talking about
Spot
you.
the lie.
They probably saw that video of you at Chat Sports getting your blocking technique in.
Dude, I don't know if anybody else saw this. I don't know if Marshall posted it or where it's at, but our new Dolphins host tried to do a little pass pro on me. Shut it down.
Yep.
Shut it down.
It was good.
Shut it down.
It was impressive. I'm not going to lie.
Did you see the video?
Yes, I did. Let's go to PG. Put me in Chuggs. Not quite, PG.
Quite.
It's got to be
so
on.
fast.
It's got to be on Venmo, PG. I can't send you the money unless it's on Venmo.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today.
Look at me. I can
play center field.
616 people here. Who's going to be like 400? Who's going to be like 400? Let me know. PG, if you want in, final call here for our duck race. Final call for our duck race. And if people want us to do another, we might be able to do another one here. So $10 to enter. Scan this QR code right here with your phone. $10 at Mitchell Renz 365, 50-50 raffle style. Right now, winner would go home with $115. If another person gets in, $120. We'll see what ends up going down. Nick says he thinks that he got 400. The real question is, who got like 420? That's the real question. If you want a shout out here on the Raiders Report, spam me right now. Also, we are watching the Texas Rangers Tampa Bay Rays game in the background. Rangers up 4-0 against the Rays. And Jeremy and I were saying like how empty the stadium is at Tropicana. But I also said, I mean, it's literally the middle of the day. Wow. Aroldis Chapman throwing 101. I mean, he might be one of the last people I ever want to see go up against. PG, you in, which now makes it you'd win 120 doll hairs. 120 doll hairs. Who wants a shout out here on the show? We got Raider Rob. What up, Zalesbo? Bronx Raider. Juan Hernandez. Chili Maine. Yo-Yo 420666. I got Raider Steam. Raider Rob, 1969, Isaac Castro, Ryan Sinner, Corey Alexander, Zalesbo, Tadashi, Raul Gonzalez, Jose Espinosa, Punchy, Nick, King Gabe, Eric Ramirez, Michael Vasquez, PG 2869. PG, I think I'm still drunk from those tequila shots that you bought me. Heshway, what up, man? Ryan again. John Scheffler. You in. And then Luis M. You also in. So right now, winner gets 130. Oh, dude, this is going to be juicy. $130 to the winner. Yesterday, we gave away $120 and $140. Today, right now, it's up to 130. And as soon as Chuggs gets all the ducks in the race, we'll get this thing going. And if you're like, Mitch, I want to do another one, don't worry. I think we're going to end up doing one more duck race. But it's going to be a little bit higher stakes. A little higher stakes duck race, which I kind of like. All right, Jeremy. Wait a minute. Rebel says, put me in. Rebel's in. So now we're up to $135. $135 to the winner. Oh, my Lord. Aroldis Chapman, a 91-mile-an-hour splitter. That's insane to me. We do have one more segment, though, after this duck race. I want to clarify that. One more segment after this duck race, and then we might even do another one. Final chance to get in. I got somebody that wants to be my friend, which usually means Angelo. I just accepted it. So counting down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Angelo at the buzzer. Angelo. Angelo, and his last name is Pay. Angelo Pay. Shuffle it until we get... I like the different ducks. I like the different... Yeah, see, there's too many the same. I think we're good there. There's a Donald Trump duck. There's a Josh McDaniels duck in there. All right, we got them all. Winner gets 140, right? Is that the math, or 135? All right, so we were at 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Winner gets $140. Winner gets $140. You ready? Alfredo Ramirez should be. He's technically the 23rd name I sent you. Yep, Alfredo, you in. So here are the people that we have in the duck race. Jeffrey K, Norman H, Eden G, Jose ESP is how I just have these abbreviated. Jamani, Javier Diaz, Luis Rodriguez, Ira Jackson, William, Juan M.A., Ray Cald, Patrick B., Sean Navarro, Hoston, Hosdung, Jason Kim, Guadalupe, Scott Spro, Omar, Dijon, DaijEon, Brian Littleton, Aaron W., Victoria, Alfredo, PG, Chef, Lewis Mack, Rebel, and Angelo. Those are all the people we have in the duck race.
Dolphins host who, we were talking about our pass pro set.
Oh, let me defend my honor. Unbelievable.
I thought you did.
No, you won the rep. I don't know. Can that mic pick me up?
Yeah.
Chuggs won the rep. However, I had a brick wall to my left, and the angle was in no way the same angle you would see on a football field. I want to do the same thing.
I can confirm.
Oklahoma drill style. Versus Chuggs.
I appreciate you calling me a brick wall there.
I was going to say.
No, it was an actual wall. No, like a drywall from the office. And
the
you were
story
like an H-back.
changes.
You were like an H-back 3 yards in the backfield.
The story changes.
I mean, any NFL ref would have called that.
You know, excuses are like assholes, Reetma. Everyone's got one, and they all stink.
For the record, I think I have a good smelling butthole. I do. I think I do. All right, coming up here, duck race time. Winner gets 140. I mean, Chuck seems to love it because he's always just sniffing me, especially when I come home. It's probably from my walk for 30 minutes, which actually is crazy. I ran into a guy who watches our show yesterday on my walk home, and he's like, yo, Mitch, I love you and Chuggs.
Not even shitting you.
Uh-oh.
At the high school game that me, Reetma, Tyler, Marshall, and Chase went, somebody recognized Tyler from Ravens Rundown.
Really?
I'm not even shitting you.
Dude, that's sick.
Facts.
That's sick. All right, y'all. I think we got to do this duck race here. People are getting impatient. 3, 2, 1, go! Winner gets $140 here on the Raiders Report. Dude, Luis Rodriguez always seems to find himself in the lead, though I think he got off to way too good of a start here. But Luis Rodriguez might end up pulling this one away. PG down below doing his best Buddy Bear impression. Sean Navarro up at the top. Right now it's between Sean Navarro and PG. I like where Victoria is. I like where Jeffrey K is. Watch out for Scott Spro. Guadalupe is right in there as well. Ira Jackson starting to creep up here a little bit. Norman H, don't let that top hat fool you. This man is a baller. Juan M starting to pull up here. 17 seconds to go. Watch out for Scott starting to pull up. Javier Diaz fall back. Is Juan Ma about to pull this one away? 9 seconds, one. But wait, Rebel Montana!
Go home,
Marshall! Wow, Rebel Montana. He's going home with money tonight, and I'm even wearing the Booth jersey. The Booth jersey is Rebels, yes. The Booth family. The whole Booth family. Rebel Montana. Oh, shit. Rebel is going home with $140. Quack, quack. That's insane. Rebel, please confirm in the chat that you got the money. Congratulations to Rebel Montana. Rebel Montana. Rebel Montana. What's up, Rebel? Congrats, man. That's awesome. Rebel, just confirm down in the chat that you got the money. I just sent it.
Got any grapes?
You got any grapes?
You know what that's from?
I do.
And he waddled away, waddle.
Yep.
Till the very next day. Bop, 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 bop.
Rebel Montana says, I got it. So now my next question to everybody out there, for the people that aren't ducking around, do we go another duck race, double or nothing? Double or nothing duck race for 20. Are you in? Y for yes, and for no. Are we doing another duck race? $20 entry this time. Or do we sack up and go for a hundo? Jeremy goes, let's do 20. $20 duck race. Luis Rodriguez, I feel like, has won so much money doing the duck races this year that he's like, honestly, I can retire. Seeing a lot of yeses, 100% in. All right. $20 to enter the next duck race here on Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. $20 to enter. If you don't want to add me as a friend, you don't have to. I do think it's the easiest way, though, to make sure that it's me. Get out your camera. All you got to do is scan this right here, and then you are entered for a shot to win. As soon as we start getting some of the 20s, we'll get it going. We're going to do this one, though. You got to act quick because we're going to do it after this show. After this segment coming up here on the Raiders Report, we're going to do it because, unfortunately, we do have to get out of the studio by probably in 25 minutes or so because somebody else has to get in here. So just keep that in mind. And then we already got one person. The first person is Ira Jackson. So I'll do my best here to be able to relay this to Chuggs. I don't know what is happening here. All right. Ira Jackson, the first person in the duck race. Javier, the next to get in, which that means all we need is one more person for it to be a successful duck race. Alfredo, you in. All right, we already got 3 people in. Ray, you in. 4 people in, which means right now you'd go home with $40. Luis Rodriguez, you in. Jeremy Carter, you in. So already we are up. Jesus, you in. 7. Jason, you in. So right now, you'd go home with $80 as it stands right now. $80 is what you'd go home with. It's pretty good. Jason, I just confirmed your friend request there. All right, that's all we have for right now. Remember, we are doing this duck race after this next segment here, which is going to be around trade candidates. David Rodriguez, you in. You in. Winner now goes home with $90. I'll refresh one more time. Okay. We are at $90 to the winner. Now we're going to get into our trade segment here. Sergio wants to be my friend. A lot of people want to be my friend here today, which I appreciate. I do. I appreciate it. Believe it or not, guys, it goes a long, long way. The more friends you can add on Venmo. Really? Wow. That was something. That was something. Okay, y'all. Segment time. Raiders trade candidates.
Best candy that you get trick-or-treating.
Best candy that you get trick-or-treating? Like a typical, like we're not getting crazy like a Reese's Take 5. I'd say I probably get most excited over a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or a Snickers. Those are probably my top two. Also, though, I actually like Butterfingers. Not my favorite, but during Halloween, I'll try, like I'll have a Kit Kat, I'll have a Butterfinger. You try different ones. You go back to when you were a kid, the nostalgic feeling, if you will. The nostalgic feeling. Oh, boy, we got a few more now. Norman in. Wow. And Luis Mack, you in. Right now, winner gets $110.
Growing up is realizing that Almond Joys are actually good.
Oh, dude, I love Almond Joys. Sergio, that makes it 12. Winner goes home with 120. Okay. Let's go. We're going to get into this. Raiders trade candidates. Every time I do this show, people get mad. I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to trade these guys away. I'm simply saying that if the Raiders were to trade guys away at the NFL trade deadline, it would probably be some of these guys here. So you ready, Chuggs? Chuggs gave me the thumbs up. You guys ready? Coming up right now, Raiders trade candidates. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. Coming up on today's show, Raiders trade candidates at the NFL trade deadline. Every time I do this show, people get upset because, Mitch, why would you want the Raiders to trade away these players? It's not that I want the Raiders to trade away these players. It is if the Raiders are not playing good football and they know that this season is not going to turn into the playoffs, do you potentially move on from your best players, your highest assets, to try to get more draft capital in the future? Those are the players that you're going to see here on today's show. Why? Because those are the players that probably only have trade value. If you don't know what the NFL trade deadline is, and if the Raiders are sellers, unfortunately, that's going to stink. I'm hoping the Raiders can go on a little bit of a winning streak here with their next 4 games in. Who knows? Maybe that they would be buyers, because the trade deadline is October 31st, Halloween, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Luckily for you, Jeremy, Chuggs, and I, no matter what, we will be live during the NFL trade deadline, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you got those notifications turned on. But if the Raiders lose 3 out of their next 4 games, I honestly think that they could be major sellers here at the deadline. I will say if the Raiders do end up making a trade before the deadline, if they make one probably at any point, I'm probably going to go live here on the Raiders Report. And if it's a monster trade, we're going to be live for a long time. I was live for, I think like 8 hours when the Raiders traded for Davante Adams. I don't know what trade would have to go down for me to be live for 8 hours, but my point is this. I got a commitment to excellence. And speaking of commitment to excellence, I know that these people also who are a part of the Noti Gang also have a commitment to excellence. If you want to see your name up here on a show, make sure you're subscribed, but also try to be one of the first 5 people that comment on my video. So shout out to D, Preston, Michael, Anthony Parks, Real One for Life, 1960. I salute you. Thank you so much for being a part of my Noti Gang. So coming up here, we're going to get into the 5 players that I believe would be the most likely to get traded if the Raiders were sellers at the deadline. The first name that comes up has got to be the name that as soon as I talk about this video has to pop up into your mind, and it's Hunter Renfrow. And I know that we sat here and said during the offseason, Renfrow's going to get traded. Renfrow's going to get traded. At this point, I would almost rather the Raiders trade Hunter Renfrow, because if you're not going to use him, and when they do try to use him, he looks unmotivated, I'd rather you just try to save the money and move on from a player, because he looks unmotivated right now, and maybe it's because he's seen only 7 targets. But he had a very costly drop this past week that would have been an easy first down. But in the 14 games with Josh McDaniels, Hunter Renfrow has started in only 1 of them. Only 1 game Hunter Renfrow started. Imagine an offseason where you pay a receiver a 2-year deal, $32 million, you give him $21 million guaranteed, and yet you really don't even play him all that much. And then when you do, you don't even target him. The math there doesn't math. It doesn't make sense from top to bottom. I know for a fact Hunter Renfrow will not be back next season. And if you know that he's not going to be back next season, you might as well get something from him. So not only am I going to be talking about players that could be potentially traded, if I do a video like this, I think I'd be bad at my job if I didn't also say, well, what could you potentially get for Hunter Renfrow. And right now, 7 targets, 5 catches, 52 yards. I hate to break it to you. I've been telling people for a long time, you're not going to get a lot. You're not going to get a lot for him. And right now, I believe that the Raiders would settle for a 6th-round pick. There might not even be teams that would want to take on his contract and give you a 6th-round pick. Like maybe the New Orleans Saints because of his buddy Derek Carr. Maybe a team like the Buffalo Bills, who I do think could use a slot receiver. But here's the other thing that you have to think about when you talk about players at the NFL trade deadline, especially for a team that could potentially be a seller. It's important to know that it's like a yard sale. Nobody that's ever been to a yard sale, me growing up in central Pennsylvania, shout out to the 570, I was a frequent flyer at yard sales with my mother. You're not going to a yard sale looking to spend a lot. So if you're a seller at the NFL trade deadline, more than likely, whatever you're putting out there on the yard to sell, you're not going to get a lot for it. The price tag, as Jeremy said, is a suggestion. If you don't have at least one woman, probably named Karen, who comes up to you and goes, instead of a quarter, can I give you a nickel? Then you're not doing a yard sale the right way. Here's my question to you, though. Will the Raiders be buyers or sellers at the deadline? Because that's the biggest discussion of the NFL trade deadline. Are there teams that try to go out and win a championship, become a buyer? Or is there a team like the Raiders where right now you're 1-3? If you're not good at the deadline, you might as well start shipping off some pieces to get extra draft capital and get ready for next season when you got a brand new head coach. The only reason why they might not be a seller is because if Josh McDaniels wants to keep his job, I think he has to be able to look himself in the mirror and go, you know what? If we sell, I might not be back next season. Let's go to the next name up here for a Raiders trade candidate, and it's Josh Jacobs. Again, the names that you're going to see on the show are going to make you mad because what we have right now is a 1-3 football team, and I'm putting players up here that will not be back next season. I know that a lot of Raider fans like Josh Jacobs, but I said it in the offseason, and I said it again. The Raiders will not bring back Josh Jacobs next season. They're not going to give him another franchise tag. The Raiders are ranked dead last in rushing yards per game right now with 65.3, and if a winning team needs a running back, they could potentially make the move. And you might as well try to get something for him because you know he's not going to be back. Is Zamir White a good running back? No, he's not. The Raiders are going to have to draft a running back next season. No matter what, it's already going to happen. But considering the fact that you're paying him the amount of money that you're paying him, I still think Jacobs is a talented back. However, though, if teams are going to stack the box, and if you're going to have a running back that's making all this money and no matter what, they still can't do anything, ship him off. Try to get something for him. And if you're a team that's selling, it does make sense to sell a running back like Jacobs. Now, I know people think that Jacobs is going to get a first-round pick. You ain't getting a first-round pick on Josh Jacobs. Look at the trade values out there for Jonathan Taylor. They try to get a second-round pick. Teams really weren't even interested in a second-round pick. I'd say if the Raiders were sellers at the NFL trade deadline, the Raiders would look to get a third-round pick. They might even settle for less. Again, this is a suggestion because it is a yard sale. And if you think that the Raiders are getting a second-round pick, if you think the Raiders are getting a first-round pick for Josh Jacobs at the deadline, I'm sorry. You are absolutely insane. Speaking of insane, we got insane deals because we got an amazing sponsor here on the show. Shout out to Game Time. Last-minute tickets. It is the perfect app for anybody planning a trip to Las Vegas because things happen literally the spur of a moment. So what's funny is I've been using Game Time for a long time, way before they were a sponsor here on the show, and I actually bought my fiance's dad tickets to the Raiders and Cowboys game because I knew it was last-minute tickets, and if anybody knows my fiance, if you're basically doing everything at the very last minute. So Nation, create an account or redeem code Raiders Chat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. It is the perfect app for buying tickets when you're planning on visiting Las Vegas. So download the Game Time app today, Nation. The link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and down in the description. Probably my favorite feature about the app when I'm looking for tickets, especially like at a Raiders game, like this is the perfect picture to show you. I like to know, like, what does it look like? Like, sure, you get like the stadium view and you can kind of see like, all right, I'm going to be behind the Raiders here. Oh, I'm going to be top right corner. This you actually get to see what it looks like. I like that view. They also end up like ranking the prices. They have the tickets that are hot. Game Time is a totally amazing app, but they're also going to really change your way how you buy tickets. So use promo code RaidersChat for $20 off and download the Game Time app today. Let's go to the next player here that I think could end up getting dealt, Bilal Nichols. And the reason why Bilal Nichols is on here is because teams that are fighting for a Super Bowl know that games are won in the trenches. And the more and more I've watched this Raiders team, the more and more I realize that this team doesn't care about the trenches. They don't care about the defensive tackle group. And if I'm the Raiders, I'm keeping John Jenkins out there because he's been your best defensive tackle. And then I also want to give some reps to Nesta Jade Silvera. I want to give some reps to Byron Young, some of the younger guys. And I think in terms of which defensive tackle has the most value right now on the silver and black, it's Bilal Nichols because of the age, because of the past experience, and because of his production. And I know it's not a lot of production, but the Raiders don't have a lot of production right now for players that are under the age of 30 at the defensive tackle position. So if you could get something for Bilal, why not look to try to do it? Because you're doing this rotation right now, and Nichols hasn't even really been all that special. So if there was a team that said, you know what, I'm going to go out and try to get Bilal Nichols here, 7th round pick for him, and you'd be able to ship him off and sell him. You're not going to get anything more for him. He hasn't been all that good. He's in the final year of his deal, which means he's not going to be back next season. Move on from Bilal Nichols and at least get something. Let's go to this name, and this is the one that I know is going to open up a lot of eyes. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. This is more what I would do. If I'm the Raiders, and I know that I am a seller, believe me, speaking of sell, it's a hard sell to Mark Davis because, let's face the facts here, Mark Davis paid Jimmy Garoppolo $33 million guaranteed money. And after 8 weeks, I'm sitting up here at the time. Again, the deadline is after week 8. I'm saying, I know you gave him a lot of money, but we're trying to build for the future here, and we're trying to get at least something for the quarterback. If the Raiders are 1-7, they should trade Jimmy Garoppolo. If the Raiders are 2-6, I think that the Raiders should probably trade Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you let Aidan O'Connell get more reps. The biggest thing that would hold this back is Mark Davis saying, well, wait a minute, I gave Jimmy G all this money. But the only other way that I think that you might actually be able to get some better compensation in terms of draft capital is if, just like anything, if a quarterback goes down. I don't know which team would be in that situation where you're like, all right, I'm a Super Bowl caliber team. I just lost my quarterback for the season, and now I need to go out and get a QB like Jimmy G. I don't know if the Raiders would even trade with the Chiefs. I mean, Jeremy just whispered Chiefs in my ear. I don't know if you trade within your division. Though, if a team gave you a first-round pick, shit, yeah, let's make it happen. To me, though, with Jimmy Garoppolo, because he plays quarterback, I'm saying at best, you'd get a third-round pick if a team felt like Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback that could help them get to the next hump. Like, honestly, the team that I think makes the most sense, which might be weird for some people, the 49ers. If Brock Purdy ends up getting hurt, Sam Darnold ends up going down, then you got to go out and get a Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sure I could come up with another team that's a quick passing offense that could use him. If it's not, you're going to get a 5th at the absolute best for Mr. Jimmy G. I got one more name to bring up here. However, I do want to keep you guys up to date with everything that we're doing here on the Raiders Report. So I'm live right now recording this on Tuesday, and I'm going to be live every single Tuesday, every single Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm also going to be live on Thursday, Bears, Commanders, Thursday Night Football. I'm rooting for the Bears. If the Bears win on Thursday Night Football, the Raiders, I believe, have the #1 overall pick if the season were to end today. Then on Sunday, the Chiefs and Broncos, they don't play against each other, but since the Raiders play on Monday Night Football, which we will be live for, I'm going to be live on Sunday rooting against the Chiefs, rooting against the Broncos here on the Raiders Report. Let's go to the final trade candidate here, and this is another one that's not going to make people happy. It's Davante Adams. I know Davante Adams has said that he doesn't want to be traded, and I hope that he doesn't want to be traded. But if the Raiders are in a spot here where they're 1-7, I mean, you saw how frustrated Adams was after a 1-2 start, after a 1-3 start. If the Raiders lose to the Chicago Bears, his old team, the Green Bay Packers, and the New England Patriots, and now you're potentially 2-6, 1-7, well, then I think anything's possible. And I don't even know if at that point I would blame Davante for wanting out. Here's the thing, though. Trading away Davante means that the Raiders are throwing away $7.8 million for this year in dead cap hit, and they've already paid him $16.9 million in 2024. So essentially, you're throwing out $24.7 million to not have Davante Adams on your team. I know Adams doesn't want to get dealt. Adams wants to be a Raider. He's made that very, very clear. He wants to succeed here. But the value of Davante, unlike all these other guys, that doesn't go down, right? Like Lamborghinis, the value doesn't go down. Rolls Royce, the value of that, it doesn't go down. You know why? Because it doesn't ever need to go down. And unlike all the other 3-4 players that I talked about, which I said yard sale, you don't find Lamborghinis, you don't find Ferraris on a yard sale. And I don't think that the Raiders would even put Davante on the trade block. The way that this trade ends up going down is Davante saying this, hey, you guys traded for me. You told me that we were about to be a Super Bowl caliber team. Then when you traded away my buddy Derek Carr, I asked you one thing. Put me in the loop to decide who is the next quarterback of the Raiders. You ignored me. You didn't do that. I called you out this offseason and said I didn't like the way that this offense was trending. And as it stands right now, the Raiders have one of the worst offenses in the league. So since you're not going to listen to me, I want to get the hell out of here, and I want to go somewhere else where somebody's going to actually be able to use my talent. Now, again, a lot can happen, and I hope it doesn't happen. But the Raiders, if you trade away Davante and you're paying $24.7, you better get 2 first-round picks for him. Like, you better get 2 first-round picks for him. People are going to talk about Davante trade rumors. Get ready for it. I don't want it to happen. Nobody wants it to happen. But that rumor, all that I just talked about, will continue to get circulated. So be honest with me here. If the Raiders traded away Davante Adams, what would you do? This is a very open-ended question. And I want y'all to vent down below, because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take some of my favorite responses to this question here on the video that goes out, and I'm going to put them on the show, because I want people to see how much Davante Adams means to this roster. And you know what? There's another player that I know people are going to get thrown in some trades, and we'll talk about him here in just a second. But if you haven't followed me on Twitter, make sure you do so. If you haven't followed me on IG, make sure you do so. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365, literally everywhere. I know we make a lot of content here on YouTube, videos every single day, live multiple times a week. But I'm on social media giving my opinion every single day, all the time. It's my job, and I take it very, very seriously. So please, if you want more info from me, find me on social media. The final player is this, Maxx Crosby. But guess what? He's not available. The only player on the Raiders that is not available in a trade is Maxx Crosby. Now, I get it. There's a lot of other deals out there, like trading Tyree Wilson the contract. Doesn't make sense to do that. But the only player that I know for a fact that has value, that there might be a team crazy enough to ask, hey, what do you want for Maxx Crosby? He's not available. The Raiders will never trade him. He's the face of the franchise. He will retire a member of the Silver and Black. So one more time here, our Raiders trade candidates. I would say Renfrow's the most likely. Josh Jacobs is definitely a name to keep in mind. Bilal Nichols, those are your top 3. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, not as likely unless the quarterback ends up getting injured. And then Davante Adams. But to me, that's only if he wants out, because he's so sick of what McDaniels and Ziegler have constructed. Remember, if any trade ends up going down, we'll keep you updated here. We'll make a video on it. And if it's a big enough trade, we will be going live here on the Raiders Report. All right, Nation, for everybody that's watching live right now, for every single person, we have, let me see, the last name that I put in was Sergio. Brian, you in, that gives us 13.
There he goes, having the time of his life.
No doubt. Edwin, I just got your friend request. Here's what we're going to do. 60 seconds on the clock, starting now. $20 to enter our 50-50 duck race raffle. Right now, the winner would win $130. However, if you enter, it goes to $140. If another person enters, it's $150. That's how a 50-50 raffle works, for those that do not know. So, if you want in, $20 to enter. Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365. We already had one raffle today. Rebel Montana won $140. $140, not bad. Last game day when the Raiders and Chargers played, Fat Bearded Dad won $1,000. Also that day, we gave away $550. So obviously during game days, more people, higher money, all that kind of good stuff. Edwin, you in? We are now up to $140 to the winner. I was waiting for Rebel because I didn't get one yet for Rebel. Rebel's in. If Rebel wins again, though, he is playing with house money. Aaron Wynn. His last name is Wynn something else. Aaron Wynn. So you're at 16 now. $160 to the winner. As soon as Jeremy gets all these names typed in, and if I don't get anybody else, we're going ducking here. So we got Aaron, Rebel, Edwin, Brian, Sergio, Luis, Norman. Did I give you David? David in. Jason, Jesus, Jeremy, not him. Luis, Ray, Alfredo, Javier, and Ira. All of them are in. Jeremy, you good? All right, here's what the Ducks are looking like. How about this? Refresh it for me one more time. Chef is in. We always got somebody wait till the very end. Winner gets 170 now that Chef's in. Last chance. Last chance for you. Okay. Yeah, we need one more shuffle. A lot of I like that one. I like that one a lot. Let me see. Yep. Okay. Finalized. Done. Nobody else is entering. Jeremy. Hang on. The Panthers are looking to trade for a receiver. No. I think if they trade for a receiver, it's Renfrow. I think that's more of a could they go out and get Chase Claypool type of thing. I got to sneeze, though. Hang on a second here. Oh, man. Okay. You guys ready? Jeremy Chuggs, you ready? Chuggs says he's ready. Winner gets $170. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's get it going here. Winner gets $170. It's duck race time. Brian wearing the thing, I think it's the costume from the movie The Christmas Story, out to an early lead here. And then watch out for Lewis Mack down below. The person, I'm calling it right now, Javier Diaz is my prediction to win this race. Norman's in a good spot.
Give me Stormin'
Ira
Norman.
Jackson is in a good spot.
Give me Stormin' Norman.
Sergio's blowing his load way too early. Watch out for Alfredo. Aaron Wynn looks really, really old. John Scheffler also in a comfortable spot. Edwin starting to pull up to the scene. Brian in first place. Is Brian going to pull away? Now all the Ducks are falling back. Luis Rodriguez with a lead. David Rodriguez and Luis. I feel like Luis is always in these races. Ray Calderon, watch out. Wait, Aaron's making a jump at the very end. Is Aaron going to win? Is Aaron going to pull this one away? He does. Aaron Winnick for the win. Oh, that was electric. Congratulations to Aaron. Aaron, I'm about to pay you $170. Quack, quack. I need you to confirm down in the chat that you got it. Aaron, did you get it? I know, Rebel came in second. I was like, holy shit, Rebel's about to win again. I really thought so. Holy shit, it's I'm Punchy. I didn't even realize that. Dude, I am Punchy. Wow. How many times have you won, Punchy? 2, 3 times now? I'm telling you, there's certain people. There are certain people. Yeah, I'm punchy. That's what he commented. Pizza. Oh. Oh, sorry, Punchy. He's only won wait, so only 2? So this one and a jersey? Oh, okay. I gotcha. That was a close race, man. That one was close. I'm not going to lie. We got a few more. We got a super chat that came in from Shane. How about instead of trading Davante, trade McDumdum back to the Pats? They need an OC. I'm fine. I would literally, if you just want McDaniels, we'll give him you. Like, I don't need anything in return. We don't need a pick. You just take him.
Would you give up a 4th to get rid of McDaniels in his contract?
Trade away a 4th round in a heartbeat. I'm so done with McDaniels. If you told me I got to trade New England a 4th round pick and they can also have McDaniels, I would do it. Why not? At this point, I'm done with McDaniels. He's a waste of time. It's never going to happen. I don't want it to happen. I'm done. Here was our live schedule for the remainder of the week. Jeremy Chuggs and I are going to be live on Thursday, Bears Commanders. Let's go Bears. Then I'm going to be live on Sunday doing a dual watch party. We're going to follow the Chiefs game and the Broncos game. We're going to be rooting for the Jets against Denver, and I don't even remember who Kansas City plays, but FKC. He's locked in. Then Monday night football. Let's go Raiders. We're going to be back at it. I mean, if there's one thing I can guarantee you. Rebel says we can trade coaches. Yeah. I mean, John Gruden. Of course we can. The Vikings. Let's go Skol. Let's go Vikings. I'm going to be doing my best Vikings impression then. FKC, F Denver. I'll see you guys Thursday night football. What? Oh. Richie, wrong stream. Peace out from me, from Jeremy Chuggs. Congratulations, I am Punchy. Congratulations, Rebel Montana. I'll see you guys Thursday here live on the Raiders Report.